Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, July 22nd, 2022. What's going on? How are ya? Dude, how the fuck is it July 22nd already? This goddamn summer's flown by. I can't believe it, man. You know, I remember when I was a kid. When you get out of school, and next thing you knew, June was over. And then July always took a while. And then the second it was August 1st, that fucking dread would start creeping up like, fuck, here we go again. Here we go again. You know, cavemen back in the day, cave kids, had no idea how lucky they were. What education did you need? How to sharpen a stick, how to start a fire with some rocks, and how not to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. You know? And you know what's funny is that fucking generation would probably be like, oh, these kids who grew up in the 70s and 80s, they could never handle post-prehistoric times. All right, well, you know, I don't want to sleep outside. All right, that was a bad fucking example, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I didn't sleep well last night at all. Oh, God. I flew up to Winnipeg with Nate Craig and Bianca Cristoval, and we did this amazing show. Thank you to everybody who came out in Winnipeg. We were out in this park. It's like fucking, I don't know how many people. It's a ton of people. We had a great time. And then we went to a cigar bar later on that night, had a great time there. And then I couldn't get to sleep because, like an idiot, I smoked a cigar. I think it was Thomas Hines Tobaccoist was the name of the place. And I had an espresso, too. So I was just sitting there, just fucking awake, going like, I'm getting picked up in 5 hours and 45 minutes. I'm getting picked up in 4 hours, 45 minutes. I finally just forced myself to go to sleep. I did watch the rest of that, The Dawn is Dead. The Dawn is Dead, with Robert Forster and a bunch of other amazing actors in it. And starts off a little slow. The guy who played Mel Sharples is in it, from Mel's Diner. It ends up holding up. Robert Forster gives a great performance. And then I started to watch this movie, Gene Hackman and Al Pacino. I mean, how do you mess with that one, called Scarecrow? It's pretty brutal. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's fucking brutal. It reminded me a little bit of, there's a movie, Fat City. Kind of had that thing, because it was started out in California and blah, 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 and all of that. And sort of not a nice part of California in a way, you know, economically depressed or whatever. So anyways, that's what the hell I was doing. And then we flew back this morning, and now I'm here doing the goddamn podcast. I did watch my Red Sox. Jesus Christ, you can't leave the room. You can't leave the fucking room when the bullpen goes in the game. We're up 1-0 2 games ago. All right? O'Neill's on first. Devers is at the plate. O'Neill takes off on the pitch. Devers, shallow fly ball to left field. So O'Neill's got to slam on the brakes. He runs full speed 3/4 of the way back to first base, and then maybe even more than that, 80%. The last 20% he goes like half speed, and he gets doubled off. The whole fucking year. The whole fucking year. Base running fucking errors. Bonehead base running. They do that again. Then I'm like, what the fuck? It's only 1-0. The Dodgers have, like, spent more money than the fucking Yankees and Red Sox combined. You know, even covering the bets of the interpreters on that team. We need more than one run, right? And, you know, what happens? I leave the room. I go, I don't know what the fuck I did. I answered the door or something like that, and I come back, and next thing you know, it's 4-1. Giving up a grand slam. So then I was watching the highlights last night. O'Neill makes up for that bonehead move. What he had 2-3 home runs. Everything's going good. Durant hit a home run. knocking the hell out of the ball. It's tie score. We scored like fucking 2-3 runs. 2-run homer or something like that, and the top of the 10th, and we still lose by 1 run. So the trade deadline's coming up, so every Red Sox fan is like, dude, if we don't get a fucking guy, because our starting pitching's great. If we don't, we got to get somebody in middle relief that is going to be lights out. Well, what are we doing here? Because the bats are fucking great. Base running stinks. Our starting pitching's great. And we got a great manager, too. So, I mean, I don't know. I think one guy, just one fucking guy that you could depend on coming out of the bullpen, we could, I don't know, we could ruin some people's dreams in the playoffs. Not saying we'd win the whole thing, but I don't know. I do like this team way better than last year's team, so I definitely think that we improved. But if we could just stop fucking shooting ourselves in the foot, goddamn it, we might have something here. Speaking of shooting themselves in the foot, the Democrats, everybody. They finally stopped shooting themselves in the foot. What's-his-face just stepped down? Joe Biden. I will not seek, nor will I accept the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. 1968, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Joe Biden was probably 49 years old when Lyndon Johnson gave that speech. So they finally get this guy out. He can go, get the help he needs. And now all of a sudden, this is the craziest fucking race, I've ever seen in my life. I don't even pay attention to it. Just what people are telling me. Like my plane landed and somebody texted me, Joe Biden stepped down or something. Then I'm like, who they going to get? Who they going to get? And someone was saying the governor of California. And it's really funny how the rest of the country views California. Like California is this totally fucked up state because all they show is people living under bridges and stuff like that. And then they try to say, oh, it's because this Democratic governor or the Republican before, whatever the fuck they're blaming. It's not what it is. It's not what it is. It's this war/occupation in Iraq. That's what ruined this whole fucking country. It bankrupted them. And that was not the Republicans. And that was not the Democrats. That was what happens when you get oil men in the fucking office. That's what happened. And they pilfered all of our fucking money. That's why there's no money for anything. That's why. Not because of a blue tie or a fucking red tie. Because we're fucking bankrupt. Every state is fucked. So, having said that, now all of a sudden Trump's going to go up against a lady who still has her marbles. But here's the thing. Trump does well against women. He's 1-0 against vaginas, and he's 0-1 against dicks. So this one is too close to call. I don't know anything about Kamala Harris. I'm just hoping she's a better public speaker than Hillary. That was what Hillary's problem was. Hillary was a fucking feature act trying to close an improv. And, she had about 20 minutes of material. So, anyways, how fucking nuts is this? If you can just, take yourself out of politics for a second and just the whole show of this is just fucking unbelievable. Just think of everything that happened in the last month. Trump and Biden go out, they have a debate on who the fuck should be the next president, and at one point they were talking about golf. Who could hit a golf ball further? They were in the green room or something. And the debate hadn't started. They were actually talking about that. And you're just going oh, my God, what the fuck is this? So Trump mops the floor with the guy, from what I heard. I didn't watch it, right? And it's oh, wow, Trump's going to win this thing. And then some fucking idiot takes a shot at him, misses, kills an innocent person in the crowd. Trump either lost part of his ear or didn't. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. He wears the Band-Aid. He doesn't have on the Band-Aid. It's like trying to get kissed without their makeup on back in the day. I don't know what's going on with that. And then I'm going oh, my God, this guy just got shot. He didn't die. And then he stood up and he acted like Sally Field in A Coal Miner's Daughter. I think he just won this election. And then this weird thing happened, like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9, 10 days goes by, and because there's so much information out there, it feels like it happened like a year ago, and I'm going, there's no fucking way the momentum of that is going to die, right? And then all of a sudden, Biden steps down, and now they're going to go with Kamala Harris, and now they took the spotlight back. How do you take the spotlight back? It's fucking unreal. So now, instead of two swinging old white dicks, you have a non-white vagina going up against an old white dick. How does Vegas, how do they handicap it? Who knows? Who knows which way this one goes? This is going to be, I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. The only thing I can say for sure is we're fucked either way. That's all I know. Because just like dollars and cents, until we stop paying for whatever the fuck it is we're doing over in Iraq, every year we're going to be even more in debt, and then they got to print more fucking money. And then all these idiots on Instagram is like, this guy needs to talk about how come it costs all this money for a dozen eggs. It's like, he needs to tell you why? You think it's a Democrat or a Republican? It isn't. It's big fucking business. It's fucking everybody. Whatever. I'm just fucking screaming into the abyss. Nobody's going to listen to me. They'll just fucking continue to go that way. And then meanwhile, sitting in the weeds is somebody fucking saying everything that's going on and talking about real shit, Evidently, the Supreme Court is saying that it's okay to take a bribe now. Evidently, the Senate and Congress is saying you can't try us for insider trading. They are just wildly out of control with their corruption. And meanwhile, there's one guy in the corner just fucking talking about that stuff. Everybody else is talking about golf and 1,000 points of light and leave no kids behind and say no to drugs and make it great again, but just a bunch of fucking catchphrases, like a bunch of hack comedians. That's what they are. They don't have any act. So what do? They wear the same silly fucking hat. They hang their tie low. They get a fucking, they get a catchphrase. The last guy couldn't remember the catchphrase, so he was losing. It's a really weird time, but I got to be honest with you, as an old school wrestling fan, this really reminds me of the build-up right before the first WrestleMania, where it just got to a fucking level that you just thought everyone was going to lose their minds. That's what it feels like. It feels like Trump mopped the floor with Biden, and just when you thought he was going to pin him, all of a sudden, Kamala comes running out of the dressing room. When they used to do that, and they would dive underneath the bottom rope, and they grabbed him with grabbed Trump's fucking wrestling boot and pulled him off of Biden. And then Trump's on his knees doing the no, like Ric Flair. As Kamala's taking her pump off to fucking smack him in the head. And right before she gets there, he fucking gives her the Ali against Foreman straight right to the baby maker. I mean, that's what this feels like. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see what happens. But anyway, meantime, I don't know what I'm doing. I have 3 fucking things that I have to take care of after I do this podcast. I have 2 scripts I have to read, and I have to watch a cut of my special. And I've put it all off until Sunday night. And I just said to and I was like, well, maybe I can do one of them early Monday morning, but I got a real busy day Monday. I just said to myself, I said, Bill, you fucking bald, freckled cunt. What's going to make you feel better? To just sit down and get this shit done, or are you going to let it hang over your fucking head? And I was like, all right, you're right. Yeah, right. Let's fucking do it. Let's sit down. Get what we need to get done. I know there was golf this weekend, the British Open. I didn't see 1 second of it. I taped Saturday and I forgot to tape today. Obviously, it's already over. I have no idea who won that. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is the other day I had on ESPN and it was Auburn Day. And then also the WNBA went up against the ladies' USA team, right? Getting ready for Paris. I'll tell you what's amazing. If they don't stop showing the WNBA on TV, like if they don't stop showing them, they're going to start making money. They're showing them all the fucking time. So I think eventually, I don't know, will they eventually, I think then they eventually find like an audience. They just have one story. It's that white chick getting fucking bullied because she's making more money than the veterans in the league, and they acted like that was like some big thing. And it's like, that's what happens in every sports league. If you come in a young hot shot and you're going to take somebody's fucking job and you're making more money than anybody else and you haven't scored a point yet, yeah, that's what happens. You're going to get hazed. All these fucking theories. Are they doing it because of this? Is it because of that? All right. And also, I gotta play drums tonight. I gotta go work this fucking song out. I think the show's tonight. I have no idea. But anyway, so I get home. I didn't sleep at all last night. I didn't really get to sleep on the plane. And I come home to two little kids and they want to get pizza. So I'm like, all right, let's go get pizza. We get pizza. I had a great time. My son got it all over me. It was on his hands and he was happy to see me. So he kept hugging me. And, you know, kids, they just grab like a handful of your shirt. I literally, by the end of it, I looked like I got manhandled by the pizza delivery guy. I had it all on my shoulder. At one point, my lovely wife's going like, you got to dry off his hands. I was just like, it's too late. It's too late. What am I supposed to do here? A buddy of mine told me about this guitar player, Aphrodisiac, A-F-R-O, Afro, and then D-I-Z-I-A-C. And if watch that person, that's that guy. That's the kind of shows I used to go to. That's what it looked like. So, but it's all good. All of this stuff is good. It's all fucking interesting. This is all me, like, post-mushrooms, man. Trying to fucking not just be like, this is the only way you do shit. It's like this, you know, like what I've been talking to you about. Like all these fucking idiots from my generation on these social media going on and on about how kids today could never survive the 70s and 80s, you know. Like we all grew up in a fucking crack-infested neighborhood or fought a fucking war, which we didn't. Most of us didn't. We didn't. We went to the fucking movies, okay? All right, Bill. Why don't you make the same fucking point again? All right, I'm done. Let me do a little read here. Let me do the read here. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Fresno this Friday night with Nate Craig. All right, Policy Genius. You know, a lot of life is unpredictable, but a good life insurance plan gives your family a financial safety net to protect against some of the unknowns. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius helps you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process step by step. Your work life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. Policy Genius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found their best fit for their needs. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policy Genius. Head over to policygenius.com/Bill Burr or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/Bill Burr. All right, next up, look who it is, everybody. It's game time. Game Time makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy tickets right away. Prices on Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the show start time. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying concert tickets. Priority last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Flash deals. Save even more with the exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. The lowest price guaranteed or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time. Ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Burr, B-U-R-R, with $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and reclaim code. Spell out Burr, B-U-R-R, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. You know something? I just did a dynamic read for this new version of that board game, Monopoly. And it's kind of fun how much people love that game. I mean, I know it takes a long time, but like, you know, throughout history, people that have monopolized whatever, businesses or whatever, have been just horrendously cold-hearted people. And it's funny that we then want to get on a board game and just feel what it feels like to be that heartless, you know, and charge people rent and make them go fucking broke and then put more houses so the rent goes up even higher. And you're just looking around the board, getting excited as you watch your family members become homeless. They're training you to be a fucking CEO. All right, chiropractors. Let's get into this. Chiropractors and ghosts. All right, so I mentioned last week that I was watching this chiropractor work on this poor bastard when he was a kid. He was on a swing. And I don't know what he did. He jumped off the fucking swing and he landed on his head. Fortunately, he didn't paralyze himself, but like he had no mobility. Like if he wanted to look up, he had to do like a back bend, like that type of shit. So this guy basically puts underneath this guy's jaw, it looked like he was going to, like he took it off like a donkey that was eating some oats or some shit. And he puts it, you know, over the guy. He's looking like the patient in that Metallica video 1. And he just goes 1, 2, 3 and just fucking yanks. He just yanks the guy's fucking neck. And the guy screamed in pain. And I'm going like, you know, I'm rooting for the chiropractor because I want him to fix this guy. But it just looked like he was hurting the dude. So now I guess chiropractors are now going to weigh in or whatever. But here we go. Or people are going to tell me about their chiropractic visits. Chiropractors and ghosts. Dear Billy Big Mouth Bass. Oh, the B's in parentheses. Dear Billy Big Mouth Ass. Dave here, and I'm just checking in on you. Big fan of the podcast and your comedy in general. Parentheses, not to mention you absolutely killed it in one of the best scenes of The Mandalorian. Well, thank you. Wow, the writers killed it. And Rick Famuyiwa edited the thing. And that made me look good. Can't wait for the new special. All right. I heard you mention your moderate distrust of chiropractors the other day. And I wanted to help reinforce that for you. Did you know the inventor of chiropractic, Daniel David Palmer, was a spiritualist and a magnetic healer and credits the early ideas of chiropractic to a ghost? Jesus Christ. How neat is that, right? You can Google that dude. Everything I just said is 100% true. Well, I mean, you got the guy who started Scientology. He said, you know, if I ever really wanted to make money, I'd just start a fucking religion. You got Donald Trump. He said, you know, I'm a Democrat, but if I ever ran for president, I'd fucking run Republican because you can tell those idiots anything. Now, whether they said that or not, who the fuck knows? These are all urban myths. You know, there's another urban myth that a long time ago, a full head of red-haired, freckled jerk-off in a warehouse said, I don't want to unload trucks for the rest of my life. And I'm too stupid to do anything else. I think I'll tell shit jokes in a field in the middle of Manitoba. Anyway, not to mention that chiropractors have no medical degree and aren't qualified to diagnose or treat any medical conditions, which should be obvious to anyone who has a weekly appointment with one for the entire rest of their lives, because nothing is actually being fixed. Sure, getting your back cracked feels good for a moment, but it's a Band-Aid on the actual issue. On top of that, multiple people have been seriously injured or killed by chiropractors. Killed? And sometimes, they break their fucking neck, and sometimes it takes weeks to kick in. What, you go to a chiropractor and then you die weeks later? You're losing me here. There have been cases where the chiropractor jerking the person's neck around has fucked up their veins, and they later have a stroke because of it. Oh, well, I guess I didn't read enough. Okay. All in all, if you have a medical issue, go to a doctor or a physical therapist. Anything actually useful a chiropractor would possibly do to you is something they stole from physical therapists anyway. Parentheses, source, several of my friends are licensed physical therapists. End quote. I thought you were going to quote an actual fucking article rather than my friends who do the other job said those other people doing that other job suck. Cheers and all the best. He leaves his name, the Dave or El Daverino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. Is brevity when you put the word the before your name? Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big believer in stretching and getting regular massages, although I haven't had one since last year, so I'm due. Advice on fingerprinting fear. Dear Billy Molehill, I've worked with kids my whole life. I babysat in high school and then worked at summer camps, and now I work at school programs in both public and private schools. I love it. Some of my favorite moments on your podcast are when you talk about your kids beating the shit out of you. Oh, yeah, exactly. I come home, I'm the fucking bouncy house. And when I saw you at the Patrice O'Neill benefit this past summer, my favorite bit of yours was the one about your son. Hope it makes it into your upcoming special. Anyways, I'm at a bit of a crossroads. The after-school programs don't pay enough, so I'm looking at substitute teaching. You choose the days you work. You choose the schools you work in. And you get off at 3 p.m., which is great, seeing as it frees up my evenings to pursue stand-up comedy. There you go. The problem is this. In order to substitute teach in public schools, you're required to be fingerprinted by the Department of Education. I completely understand why they do this, and when I first started the application process, I knew that was part of the deal. However, when it came to actually going down to the office and getting fingerprinted, I ran into a huge emotional block. For some reason, the idea of giving my fingerprints to the government is absolutely terrifying to me. Well, yeah, because they'll probably turn... I don't mind the government having it because I know they own me, but it's when they then turn around and sell it to corporations. Like, didn't somebody just bought 23andMe? And then I loved all the response, like everybody just going like, so wait. So now these new people have all this DNA and they can do whatever they want with it. And everybody's like, whatever, they got all your fucking DNA anyway. Like the fucking level of complacency that people have about all of this stuff. There's nothing you can fucking do. Like I remember back in the day when they were first talking about identity theft. And all my friends were like, yeah, you want to steal my identity? I have a fucking minus 900 credit score. Good luck stealing my fucking identity. And we were too dumb to realize that once they get your social security number and all of that shit, and they air quote become you, they then also forge a credit report. And then you get stuck with all that extra debt, and you still have your minus 900 fucking credit score, whatever the hell it is. So, yeah, I came back to this country. I just gave them my passport. They said, you don't need to do that. And then they just fucking held a camera up to my fucking eye. And I was like, whoa, what is this? I wonder if I could have said, no, you're not doing that. Here's my passport. You know, you have to. You must comply. I don't understand. Like, I always wonder, like, what are you guys up to that, like, you feel that you still don't know where we are enough? You know what I mean? They can turn on your laptop. If it's on, they can watch you in your house. You have your fucking iPhone that unless you have it in privacy mode or whatever, it's tracking you everywhere you go. Like, what the fuck more do you need? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. It makes me super paranoid. Sometimes I believe that they actually have the technology to make it one, to one of these other Earths that's out there. So that's why they're not worried about the Great Barrier Reef dying. They're not worried about that swirl of plastic 2.5 times the size of Texas and 2 miles deep out in the middle of the ocean. They're not worried about it because they're just going to leave and just go to a new one. Although, wouldn't they have left by now? And then they would have to take all these people. They'd have to take a staff. Why did I hit that word so hard? A staff. They'd have to take all of these people with them. No, there's no fucking way. All right? If they had the technology to go to a whole other Earth, yeah, I just think, that my cell phone case would have prevented my cell phone screen from cracking, even though I had the protective case. They at least would have given me that, right? Just out of guilt. I don't know. All right, plowing ahead here. So this person goes on. For some reason, the idea of giving fingerprints to the government is absolutely terrifying to me. I have no criminal record and have no plans to commit any heinous crimes in the future, but I can't bring myself to actually make an appointment and go down to the office. It's not about having my identity stolen or anything like that. It's just some weird, vague fear about forfeiting my freedom / ability to live off the grid. I've talked about it with my therapist as well as close friends of mine, and the consensus seems to be that I'm being nuts. I don't think you are. I think having a healthy level of paranoia, people need to be more paranoid. And they gotta fucking wake up, my God. They just gotta you gotta stop with this Red Sox Yankee shit, just looking at fucking politicians. Just blows my mind. I got to stop talking about this because I talk about it every podcast now. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. The election's only a few months away. All right. I'm reaching out to see if you have any advice. I know you're a skeptical son of a bitch and you hate giving away your personal information for any reason, but I also know that you have a lot to say on the topic of making mountains out of molehills. I think you phrased it as thinking you've stepped off a cliff, but you're actually stepping off a curb. Am I being nuts? Should I suck it up and give them my fingerprints? Or do I have a legitimate gripe here? Huge fan and go fuck yourself. Basically, you're feeling these feelings, and all these other people who don't feel these feelings are now telling you that, what you're feeling is no big deal. Okay? That reminds me of when my kids, put on I give them a shirt, and they go, I don't want to wear this shirt. Now, in my mind, it's like, what's the big deal? But to them, it's a big fucking deal. It's going to affect how they behave when they go to school. It's going to make kids pick on them because then they're going to have that vibe. Like they're unsure of themselves. So if my kids say, I don't like the shirt I'm wearing, I go, oh, can I change it? I go, yeah, go change it. Put on one that you like. So when they become adults, when they're in a situation like you are, and their gut is saying, I don't like this shit, and then the people around them go, you're making a mountain out of fucking a molehill. And then if your parents do that, I'm not explaining this right. If your parents did that from the time you were little, I feel like you go out into the world and you start ignoring your voice. If your voice is telling you not to do this, okay, I wouldn't do it. And then second of all is you want to be a comedian. Okay? That's what you want to fucking do. So I would just find another fucking job to go do, and I don't give a fuck what you had to do to get it done where you didn't have to have fingerprints or any of that type of shit. But what I don't fucking like now is that corporations are also doing this government thing. Like you're going, like when you go into their, like I bring my kids, I just take them outside. I go to playgrounds and shit like that. Anything that has an indoor now, you come in and they want to see your ID. Like you bring these trampoline parks, like, you know, if you're going to go in there, we have to have your fucking ID. And then they're like scanning your fucking ID. It's like, no, you're not doing that. Well, then you can't go in there. Good, then I'm fucking leaving. And I'm watching all of these fucking people letting a trampoline park scan their fucking IDs. It's just like, why the fuck would you do that? If everybody says no, the trampoline park caves. There's no fucking reason for them to do that. They'll tell you, well, in case somebody does something to a kid in there, we have everybody's fucking ID. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You don't give a fuck about those kids. You give a fuck about money, and you're getting everybody's ID so you can then bundle all that information as another revenue stream and go sell it to somebody else. So I don't think you should do it. If you don't want to do it, I would not fucking do it. I wouldn't fucking do it. And I think it's great that you're not doing it. I think those other people that go around doing it are out of their fucking minds. I get if you actually want to be a teacher, I get them getting it. But if you're just doing this part-time bullshit, you know, like I said, the Supreme Court says that, you know, that you can bribe politicians now, and the Congress and whatever the fuck they are said, yeah, we can insider trade. They're basically telling you how fucking corrupt they are. I don't know. I wouldn't trust them. So I think that is healthy. That's a healthy skeptical mindset, I think. And I love whenever you do something like this, there'll always be somebody who just laughs and be like, dude, they already got it anyway. And they say it with such confidence. First of all, nobody knows what anybody has and what they're going to use it for. So don't listen to some other fucking jerk off in a bar about that. Just be like, all right, man, you have fun with that mindset. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. All right. Advice/funny story. Dear Billy, new babies. First time writer, 10-year podcast and stand-up fan. Oh, diehard. Thank you. My friend is an attorney, prosecution side, and thinks I have a case, but I don't think it's worth my time either way. Either way, it's a funny story now that some time has passed. In late 2022, I started a new job as an enterprise account executive in construction technology. Okay. In April of 2023, we had an opportunity to get together in person as a team for the first time. Okay, now I got a new job as an enterprise accountant executive in construction technology. That was in late 2022. In April of 23, you had the opportunity to get together in person as a team for the first time. So there were other enterprise account executives in construction technology, designing technology for construction. Is that what's happening here? I have no idea. Anyway, we spent some team building time, going to dinner and a handful of bars afterwards. It was a great time. Lots of laughs, great conversation about work-related things and beyond. I left the city the following day thinking it was an overwhelming success. I was called into a Zoom meeting with the day after I returned home, which happened to be my birthday. My vice president said, hey man, HR is coming in right now. HR, Human Resources. Is that not the most creepy fucking name for a department? Human Resources. Natural Resources, Human Resources. We're all just shit to these people to be thrown into the machine. I was told I made derogatory comments about a coworker's sexual orientation, which violates our zero tolerance policy. This means I was fired immediately with no warning. I was shocked and confused. When did this happen? Who made the complaint? But most importantly, what did I say? A few weeks later, I caught up with the former VP of sales,
who was present when I was fired by HR. Here is the comment. Me to a group of 6 colleagues, mix of men and women. It's getting late. Let's go to one last place and then hit the hotel. Colleague's name. Okay, so you said to a person, whatever their name was, you live here, what's a good spot? Colleague says, I know a really good game bar. Me didn't hear him clearly in the crowded bar. Did you say a gay bar? No, I said a game bar, like an arcade bar. Me, oh, laughs. I was gonna say, I like you, but I don't think I'm ready to go there with you just yet. Whole group laughs, and we all make arrangements to go to the game bar together. And somebody ratted you out over that? From there, I didn't pick up on any animosity or resentment from this colleague, and we all spent another hour or two together having cocktails and playing old-time arcade games before returning to the hotel. The person felt I outed them in front of coworkers and made a complaint to HR. Instead of using this as an opportunity to educate and enlighten, I was fired without a chance to defend myself or even understand the reason until weeks later. Now, here's my question. How does this make the world a better place? How does it make them less homophobic? Let's just say you were actually homophobic. You know, this is an opportunity where you could educate and enlighten, and instead they just fucking throw you out the side door. That would probably make you even more hateful towards gay people if that was the problem. Instead, you were just making a joke, and now you're just out of a job, confused. Hopefully you hate HR. Anyway, I was tried without even a chance to defend myself or even understand the reasoning until weeks later. I'm in a much better place now and loving my work, so it all worked out in the end. Yeah, I mean, who the fuck wants to work with those people? Which is easy to say knowing you got another job. Hello to your wife. Congrats on your children. Can't wait until you're in Minneapolis again. A future ex-booze bag. Yeah, that's just nuts. Adults just telling on other adults for minor infractions, and then you lose your job. Do you know what I found with zero confrontations in my life? When you have zero tolerance for something, it just leads to big fights. As opposed to working shit out. You know, zero tolerance policy, you know, wars. It just, none of it ever ends in a good place. And you might win for a minute, but then there's always the regrouping of whoever you stomped out, and then they come back, and then they try to fucking do shit to you, and it never ends. It never fucking ends. All right. NA beer recommendation. N/A beer recommendation. I don't know what this means. Hey, Bill, I have a solid, non-alcohol beer recommendation for you. Athletic Beer Company has hands down the best tasting non-alcohol beers on the market. The only one I would steer clear from is the light beer, which is trying unsuccessfully to be a Miller Lite. Everything else has been terrific. I had some time off after going a little overboard for a spell, and in my opinion, this was the only one that was worth a damn. Hazy IPA is my favorite. Hope you have the opportunity to try. Have a great day and go fuck yourself. Yeah, I only get like an alcohol-free. Like, I would never sit around my house drinking one of those. It's just like every once in a while when I go out and I don't want to drink water and everybody else is having booze. And I don't drink soda anymore. So occasionally I'll go out with my daughter and she's discovered root beer floats, which is a major, major moment in the childhood of any kid. Your first root beer float is just another, life goes to another level, right? Occasionally I'll have a couple of sips of my daughter's root beer float, but I don't really mess with anything like that. The best non-alcohol beer that I've had that I can think of in recent memory was the Sam Adams one, whatever the fuck that one was called.
That one was great. Oh, you know what I didn't tell you guys? I finally soloed all the way up to Bakersfield in the helicopter, man. It was fun. It was there was nerves kind of just going through the hills, I kind of followed the 5 up, from Burbank Airport. I followed that up, and I've basically gone as far as like Magic Mountain, and I would bang a left and go out to Santa Paula or maybe up to Santa Barbara or Santa Ynez. But I'd flown up there with an instructor before up to Bakersfield, but never soloed. And it was really funny, like just like psychologically going past that point and being in those mountains. And I was like, at one point, 5,000-6,000 feet, which is the highest I've flown solo. And then I came out, and it just drops down into all that farmland and everything. And, I have like, I got like 2 GPS. I got the iPad, and then I got my avionics. And I also have my phone sitting there if I wanted to even use that too. So I was coming in. There's an uncontrolled and a controlled. I went to the uncontrolled one. And what's great is you have like right on when you press the direct button and then put in the airport and then hit activate, in pink on my main screen right on the bottom, fuchsia if you will, it has how many nautical miles you're away. So about 10 nautical miles out, you just make a call to other pilots that are in the pattern. You just ask for traffic advisory, which basically lets you know what runway they're landing on and which way they're flying the pattern, like 16 left, 16 right, or whatever. So, and then which side to join the downwind, or if they were flying, what would that be, 3-4, you would just go straight in. So I made like 2 radio calls. I didn't hear anybody, so no one was in the pattern. So I was able with my avionics to see which way the wind was, blowing or whatever. So I just did, what was it? I did left traffic for 16 and then just did straight out and head back to Burbank. And what was really cool was when I came back, you got the first mountain range, then you have Antelope Valley, and then you have the next mountain range, and then it's back to where I'm familiar. So I went over the first mountain range, and I was about halfway across Antelope Valley. I could see what looked like Newhall Pass, which is what you fly through to drop back into the valley to go back to Burbank Airport. And I was going like, is that like right there? I mean, I know it was probably 20 miles in the distance, but I could still see it. So it made me relax, where when I was going, I mean, I was already relaxed because I did it and I was going back. But like, it was funny on the way up there, if I had the ability if I had a back window to look out of, I could have been like, all right, I'm not that far away from the airspace that I know. So anyway, that really got me, was a big confidence builder. And I wanted to fly up to Paso Robles at some point. It's just, that's a really far jaunt in a little 2-seater. And, I feel like if I flew all the way up there and then came back, I mean, I would have to take at least a couple of hours off, go in town, get something to eat or something, and then come back. But you're basically making a day out of it but I got kids and stuff, so, I can't be gone that long. I can like fly in the morning and then come back. Like Bakersfield, you can fly up there in like 55 minutes and then come right back. So, I mean, overall, pre-flight and all the bullshit, you can be back in like 4 hours. Door to door. So anyway, but I still think one of these days I'm just going to have just block out a whole day that I'm not doing shit, and I am going to fly up to Paso Robles because I went up there for a wedding, and I loved the downtown area. There was a great cigar bar that I went to, and I know some other pilots that live up there, so maybe I'll meet some people up there and have myself a good little time there. But it was really, I don't know. If you have a pilot's license, I don't know. I found that it's almost like working on your act
If you just sort of keep going to the same airports and flying where you are, you get bored. And with boredom comes complacency, and that's like dangerous. So, if you keep expanding it, within the envelope of your abilities, which this clearly was. I mean, I checked the wind, everything, to make sure that I wasn't going to be getting involved in any bullshit. Because when you get into like Bakersfield, sometimes in the summertime, if it's really, really hot and the soil dries out and the wind is moving around, you can get into some bad visibility and shit. Poor visibility. But I always just say to myself, I'm a helicopter. I can just stop, turn around, and go back the other fucking way. So, and then also it was kind of a good thing to like learn how to get fuel up there, and also actually see how many gallons of fuel it took to get up there and back. Because for whatever reason, ForeFlight doesn't recognize my helicopter because it's a newer one. So I don't know what it's using, but anytime I say Paso Robles, and I'm going to go up there, it says you're not going to have enough fuel. And it's claiming that I'm going to need like 65 gallons, something fucking crazy like that, to fly an hour and 40 minutes up there. And my helicopter burns 12 gallons an hour. So let's just say 2 hours if it took me that, even with wind, right? That's 24 gallons. I can hold, if I don't do this little trick with the wheel where I lift up one side, I could actually get up to 45 gallons, but basically 40 gallons I can put it in. So I have plenty. I would have 16 gallons to spare. So like, what the fuck are they talking about? But anytime I see that red exclamation point, it fucking freaks me out. But I think I'm gonna maybe in August, I'm gonna do that one. And then another flight that I want to get down is I want to know how to solo into San Diego. And that's a Bravo. That's Bravo airspace and everything. So I've transitioned that at LAX, which is really cool. You can do it along the beach or the 110. And then the coolest one is to do it over Sepulveda, where you fly 2,500 or higher and you actually go over the airport. And just seeing the sheer fucking size of that airport. And I don't know. I don't know how I went so long in my life not being into aviation. It was just, I was always into cars and fucking playing drums and something. But now that I'm into it, it's the most fascinating fucking thing ever. And I look at these people that fly commercially, and even though I know they got to deal with all of us assholes in the back and everything, that view they have up front and flying around the fucking country and knowing how to get in and out of all of these giant fucking airports. Like, what about the guys that fly like international? That just blows my mind now. Just I'm sweating going from Burbank to Bakersfield, and these guys will take off at LAX, fly 14 hours, and land in Sydney, Australia. It's fucking amazing. As we're destroying this planet, there are some really cool, creative ways that we are ruining the planet, and one of them would be aviation, because it is fucking awesome. And you could defend that one to God. It was like, well, you shouldn't have made birds. The fuck? We weren't going to try that? Or you should have made us dumber. All right, that's the podcast, everybody. Have a great couple of days. I will check in on you on Thursday. And whatever. I'm hanging in there with my fucking Red Sox. All right, that's it. I'll see you.